I'm going to give you two options. Option A, I give you $1 million right now in cash. Option B, I give you a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days. Which do you choose? If you're like most people, you'd take the $1 million. It feels real, tangible, life-changing. A penny seems insignificant. But if you chose the penny, on day 31, you would have over $10 million. Why is this choice so difficult? Why does the $1 million feel like the obviously correct answer, even though it's mathematically far inferior? The reason is simple, and it is one of the biggest obstacles you will ever face in your financial life. Your brain is not built to understand exponential growth, and this single, simple blind spot is costing you a fortune. Today, we are going to explore the most powerful force in finance and why your own mind rebels against it. Drawing from the incredible insights of Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, we're going to unpack the confounding magic of compounding. Our brains evolved in a world that was overwhelmingly linear. If you hunted one mammoth, you fed the tribe for a month. If you hunted two, you fed them for 2 months. If you built a spear in 1 hour, you could build 10 spears in 10 hours. Cause and effect were simple, direct, and proportional. Our intuition, our entire sense of how the world works, is based on this linear logic. But wealth isn't built in a linear fashion. It's built exponentially. It compounds. And compounding is a quiet, sneaky, and explosive force that our linear brains have a very hard time grasping. We understand getting 5% interest on our money, but we struggle to comprehend what happens when we get 5% interest on our interest, and then interest on that interest, for decades. The perfect case study in the power of compounding is the story of Warren Buffett. When people talk about Warren Buffett, they often assume his success is due to being the greatest investor of all time in terms of raw skill. But as Morgan Housel points out, that's not entirely true. There have been other investors like Jim Simons of Renaissance Technologies who have generated far higher average annual returns than Buffett. So what is Buffett's secret? It's not just that he's been a good investor. It's that he's been a good investor for an incredibly, unbelievably long time. Buffett started investing as a child. He is now in his 90s. His skill set is investing, but his secret is time. Let's look at the numbers, because they are staggering. Warren Buffett's net worth is well over $100 billion, but over 99% of that wealth was earned after his 50th birthday. Over 95% was earned after his 65th birthday. If Buffett had been a normal person who invested from his 20s and retired at 60, you would have likely never heard of him. He would have been just another successful but not legendary investor. His entire fortune is a testament to the fact that the last few years of a long compounding period are responsible for the majority of the outcome. This is the part our brains don't get. We see his massive wealth today and assume it was a steady climb. But for the first 50 years of his career, the results, while good, were not world-shattering. The real magic, the explosive, runaway growth, happened only after an entire lifetime of patient compounding. Housel uses another powerful analogy to explain this. The Ice Ages. We think of ice ages as events caused by extreme cold, but the reality is more subtle and far more relevant to our money. Ice ages begin when one summer is just slightly cooler than the one before, and a little bit of the previous winter's ice doesn't melt. The next year, the same thing happens. That thin layer of leftover ice makes it easier for more snow to stick around. This tiny, almost imperceptible advantage compounds, year after year for thousands of years. A little bit of unmelted ice becomes a permanent ice sheet, which then grows inch by inch until it covers entire continents in miles-thick ice. Compounding is like an ice age. Your early contributions to your savings or investment account are like that first thin layer of unmelted snow. For years, even decades, the results will be boring. They will be uninspiring. You'll look at your account and think, this isn't working. I'm not getting rich. And this is the danger zone. This is where most people give up. Why? Because our linear brain is looking for a proportional result. We've been saving for 5 years. We expect to see a significant, exciting result now. When we don't, we lose faith. We interrupt the process. We go searching for something more exciting, for higher returns, for a shortcut. We essentially stop the ice age just as the real magic is about to begin. We melt our own glacier. The psychological barriers to letting compounding work are immense. The first is impatience. We are addicted to instant gratification. The financial industry knows this and caters to it, with constant news about what's hot right now, encouraging you to trade, to act, to do something. But the secret to compounding is to do almost nothing. It's to let time do the heavy lifting. The second barrier is a focus on high returns instead of a long-time horizon. We spend countless hours trying to find an investment that will return 12% instead of 10%. But the difference in outcome between saving $100 a month for 40 years versus saving $100 a month for 30 years is astronomically larger than the difference between a 10% and a 12% return over the same period. Time is a more powerful lever than your rate of return. So how do you fight your own brain and harness this incredible power? First, and this is the most important advice of all, start now, not next year, not when you get a raise. Today. The amount you start with is far less important than the date you start, because the earliest money you invest will do the most work for you. It will have the most time to sit through the quiet, boring years and be there for the explosive, magical years at the very end. Second, make your contributions automatic. The best way to combat impatience and the urge to tinker is to remove yourself from the decision-making process. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment accounts every single payday. Make consistency effortless. This is how you ensure that you don't melt your own glacier. And third, train your mind to have a radically long time horizon. When you think about your investments, don't think about next year. Think about 20 years from now, 30 years from now. This long-term perspective is the antidote to the fear and greed that drive short-term decisions. It allows you to see a market crash not as a disaster, but as a brief, temporary dip in a decades-long upward journey. Your brain will trick you. It will tell you that your small, consistent contributions are pointless. It will tell you that you need big, dramatic wins to get ahead. But the greatest fortunes on earth, like Warren Buffett's, weren't built on drama. They were built on the quiet, relentless, and mind-bending mathematics of compounding. The most powerful financial tool you have is not your intellect or your ability to pick hot stocks. It is your patience. It is your ability to start today and then let time do the heavy lifting for a lifetime.